What's up with you, man?
What's going on, Matt?
Not much, man. I appreciate you taking time to do this interview with me. I'm honored to have you on the line.
Oh, man, no problem, bro. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Definitely. Hold on one second. Let me get us set up real quick. All right, man. First off, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview with StopBeefromRadio.com.
Hey, man, appreciate you having me on, man. It's a pleasure.
Definitely. And to get started, can you tell the fans who you are and where you're from?
Man, this is CJ Quinney. I am actually calling from Atlanta, Georgia, originally from Lansing, Michigan, man, out to 517.
That's a big change because I'm from the Midwest, too. So, moving from the Michigan area to Atlanta, was that a big shock or a hard thing to get used to?
It was a little different, man. I mean, coming from I guess a smaller place, Lansing is, everybody, when I say I'm from Lansing, they're like, yo, is that close to Detroit? And I'm always like, man, Lansing is the capital of Michigan, so a lot smaller town than Atlanta, so definitely some adjusting and some getting used to. But, man, I got kids, man, so I'm at the house. So, you know what I mean? I'm not out partying much. I'm not really a part of the nightlife or anything like that, man. So, an adjustment for sure with the traffic. My hometown, man, you can get from one side to the other 10 minutes. If it's really bad traffic, 11 minutes. And to be here in Atlanta, man, where every time you leave out the house, you can, bank on 45. I think that was probably the biggest adjustment, man.
Okay. Now, how long have you been running your own business, and what made you decide to start your own career?
Yeah, man, so I say since 2009, man. Once I finished grad school, me and E.T., of course, my business partner, we kind of left and started our own company. So I guess that's 9 years now that I've been an entrepreneur full-time. I guess I was kind of playing with it before that, even when I was in grad school and undergrad. We always had a couple hustles that we tried to implement. But, yeah, man, we've been at it about 9 years now. But, yeah, long story short, man, we got tired of people telling us what to do, man. So in 2009, we kind of made that full-time shift to full-time entrepreneurs, bro.
Now, when you were at Michigan State, first met E.T., when you guys decided to do the Advantage program, was the goal in the end to lead to your own situation, or did you hope to do it through the college that you were at and just blow up Michigan State?
I think initially we kind of looked at it as, we're going to blow this program up, take it nationwide, and do some consulting and things of that nature. I don't know. I think E's plan the whole time might have been like an exit strategy. I'm from the Midwest again, Matt, so you have to forgive me, bro, but what we know is, 9 to 5, getting that check, making that solid, steady income, work for 30 years, retire, hopefully have enough to last you the rest of your life. And so I'd be lying if I thought like way back then, like, yo, you can be running your own company and have your own payroll and your own staff and people who work for you. I'd be lying if I said that at that point. Like I said, E may have been thinking that, but I think, when we were in the Advantage program and doing what we were doing, I think we were just trying to be as sweet as we could with the situation we had in front of us.
And I can relate to you guys a lot, man, because I'm based out of Indianapolis, like I said, so about 10, 11 years I just started to do my own business as well. And like you said, in the Midwest, we don't have that mentality. Everybody thinks you got to just work for the man, so to speak, and be happy with your middle class stuff. But, I commend you guys for jumping out on faith on that, because that takes a lot of grit and guts to do so.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And, you talk about environment. That's one of the things that Atlanta will have you doing is it'll have you staying on your grind, too, because there's so many entrepreneurs. This is like entrepreneur heaven out here. So, when you go to places like Atlanta, New York, L.A., Miami, Chicago, like these bigger cities, Houston, where you see individuals really getting to it on another level and not settling, it can inspire you, man. And shout out to Lansing, Michigan. I'm not dogging my hometown at all, because I think one of the things that it instilled in me is that blue-collar work ethic. My father worked at the plant, worked there for 31 years and 4 days, and got up every single morning from 6 to 3 and worked on the line. So you learn a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, which is all, crucial steps to becoming a successful entrepreneur. So there were some things I learned for sure. It just couldn't teach me how to be an entrepreneur and run my own stuff.
And I think it also benefited you guys because that work ethic when you guys started ETA or left Lansing to pursue your business, it took a while. And a lot of people don't understand about these businesses, like small victories, but it takes 10, 15 years before people even acknowledge who you are. So your blue-collar mentality probably is what let you go every day, still make the video, still do what it took, because to you were moving to a bigger opportunity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the good thing, sometimes what you don't know is the most valuable thing you can have. Like, we always stress about what we don't know, and it's true. You want to get as much information as you have. But I've never been an entrepreneur, and I never started a company. So I had no expectation of, like, when money would start rolling in. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes people are so smart, and they got these great business plans and these ideas, and they formulating exactly when the revenue is going to start generating, and it doesn't happen, and it kind of breaks their spirit. Well, I was just, I guess, naive to when we started the business. We were kind of just like, oh, okay, I don't know if it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Should we already be making money? I didn't come in with those high expectations that we were just going to be balling right away. I just came in with the expectation of, hey, we're going to go to work and we're going to see what happens here. And so I think my, naive spirit at that time might have helped me quite a bit, because had I came in like, yo, all right, year 1, we're going to make 6 figures. Year 2, we're going to move up to, high 6 figures. Like, I didn't have that expectation. I just had the expectation of, hey, we're going to put our head down, go to work, and see what happens.
Yeah, and another thing, too, like, you guys have been privileged early on and now to have major accomplishments, like the people you meet, and people looking outside, I think it's a major situation. So I know from my experience, you do BET 106 and Park, everybody thinks that's the major victory. But no, that's
right.
just the stepping stool that's going to let me meet this person that 5 years from now is going to be another stepping stool. And to have that patience is just impressive.
1,000%, man. You got it right on the head, brother.
Now, when you guys decided to start your business, you went from breaking the cycle, which was ET situation, to ETA, where you put Eric Thomas at the forefront. But you're a very powerful speaker yourself. So how did you humble yourself, or not so much humble yourself, but just decide that we're going to run with ET and you're going to step to the background with you and Carl?
Yeah, no, I think, and I tell people all the time, man, I was never born to be Scottie Pippen. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, like, I never grew up with, like, the Scottie Pippen shoes. I had the Jordans. I didn't want to be Robin at Halloween. I wanted to be Batman. You know what I'm saying? So, I always wanted, had that desire to be, number one and really do my thing at another level. And I think, when I met E, I was just like, whoa, here's a dude who is literally on a whole nother level. And I think the thing, Matt, to be honest, and I don't want to take any credit. I think the thing that was, kind of impressive for us and what helped us was the fact that E was older, right? And so E kind of always had that big brother, kind of like spirit to me. You know what I'm saying? Like a mentor figure, as opposed to, like, if E would have been my age, I think we would have been like, okay, bro, like we either we both going to the forefront or you gonna go to the back. But the ego was kind of gone because he was like my big brother. You know what I'm saying? So I always looked at him as kind of our leader, by age and maturity, and he had a wife and he had kids. Like, I didn't have any of that. Like, I was just a punk college kid when I met E. And so I think the timing was just perfect between us. And so to answer your question about, the speaking thing, it was honestly out of necessity. They say, necessity is the mother of all invention. Like, we had Carl, who was, good at doing the videos and the editing and all of that, and then we had me and E speaking. And so Carl would edit the videos and I was speaking, he was speaking, he would do his thing with it, and then nothing ever came from it because we didn't have anybody pushing the videos or running the strategy or behind the scenes point guard or anything. So, to be honest, out of necessity, I was like, yo, I'm going to stop speaking and I'm going to figure out how to get us gigs. I'm going to figure out how to blow E up. I'm going to figure out how to brand this thing. I'm going to figure all these other things out. And so I kind of went to the back, behind the scenes out of necessity, and, it kind of took off. And then I kind of became known as, like, oh, this behind the scenes, like, quiet kind of guy. And I was like, not really. I was always speaking, but people kind of assumed that I was like, Slim and Baby. You know what I'm saying? Baby brother Slim from Cash Money. You don't never see him. He's like quiet behind the scenes, and people thought I was like that. And I'm like, nah, I want to be on the mic too, but I just didn't have the opportunity. So yeah, no, it turned out well for us, obviously, man.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say you're a pivot at all, because honestly, you're the best at the branding, the consulting. Like on the podcast, I'm an avid fan, and when you chime in with actionable items, and you chime in with knowledge. Like, E.T.'s incredible at what he does, but it's good to have another point of view that puts it in some realistic expectations. So I wouldn't say you're a Scottie. You're Jordan, 2.0 kind of, like what you guys do.
Hey, well, I appreciate it. Somebody says it. You know what I'm saying? If nobody else believes it, you believe it. So you my guy, man. I appreciate you, man.
Now you, I met you guys through Gary Vee. I was watching his interview he did with ET, and that's what first got me into you guys. And then when I found out about what you guys, this was about 3 years ago, I've learned about Breathe You, and I was listening to all the Secret to Success podcasts. I remember you said, you better get Breathe You now, because it will be going up, and we're never going back to this price. And I got to do it right now. And I went and did it, you know, and it's been the greatest experience because it's opened up my doors to have this conversation with you. You know, it's been great relationships with Nikki and the whole team. Like, you guys are a big family.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, Breathe You is critical, man, because I always say it's my proudest accomplishment as an entrepreneur, because you get all of these people, man, who, like, imagine I got people running up to me like, yo, I'm in, you know, the podcasting space, or I'm in the real estate space, or I'm in, you know, media, graphic design, or, you know, just kind of whatever. You look at it like, I'm sure you know Marshall, like our graphic design, like all of these people kind of just came in the family through BU. And so everybody comes in, and it's like a network that just feeds itself. So it's almost like a networking Craigslist, right? Like somebody like, yo, I need my TVs hung, and somebody like, yo, I hang TVs. Like, it just works out great. I need a graphic designer. Well, I do graphic design, and it turns into like this community. And I think, you know, maybe Craigslist isn't a great example because it's so informal, but it's like a family version of like Craigslist, right? Where you like post your needs up. Hey, here's what I need. Here's what I'm good at. And so everybody kind of understands where everybody's at. And so somebody, hey, we need a speaker for this event. Okay, cool. Here goes a speaker in BU. And I always tell people, imagine joining a community of people who have all been inspired by Eric Thomas. Like, yo, you're doing your podcast right now. You're on the grind. You're getting guests. You bring the people the best podcast you could bring. Like, you've been inspired by Eric Thomas. So chances are you're not a shady guy. You're not trying to rob anybody out of money. You're not trying to, you know, big time anybody. You got a humble servant spirit. Like, all of those things that he is, that's who he attracts. Like, the scumbags, they tend to stay away from E because we can sniff them out from a mile away. And so the people looking to get over on people, the people looking to, you know, just make $1 off somebody and leave them high and dry, those people are kind of like stay away from us. He's kind of repellent for those kind of people. And so what you end up with, and you know this, Matt, from yourself, just being in the community, is a bunch of people who like really want to help out, who really want to be a blessing to you, who really want to offer a valuable service, who want to do it with character and integrity and all of those things, man. So when I tell people to get in BU, I'm like, man, just like I tell people all the time, you got a book you trying to do? By being in BU, you gonna sell 1,000 copies just from your BU fam. Like, it's just a great network, man. And one of the things that I really do, you know, speak very highly of that we've been able to pull off, man, because it is an incredible community, and I love each and every single person in that community, man. It's been awesome.
When I first joined, I've always had this vision for this. It's a slogan, pursuit. People usually repeat situations until individuals triumph. And I went on to the Facebook page and posted that, and then somebody hit me up like, yo, let me do the graphic for you. And then we put, you know, it's just because of those relationships. You can't have that and they're very successful people. So I definitely recommend everybody listening or I've run into to get into Breathe You. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad, and thank you for taking advantage of it. You know, it's one thing to get in, but then it's another thing to be active and post and all of that, man. And as entrepreneurs, man, we got so many needs, and you know, I love it, man. And you know, Matt, just from being in BU, man, you got people in BU who are millionaires. I mean, like certified in the bank account, liquid millionaires, all the way down to the person who might have just graduated high school a couple years ago, or just finishing up college, who hadn't even gotten a job yet, or unemployed still, looking to get on, man. And you think of the Jamals and the Joshes and the people that they have access to through BU, you would never be able to get involved in that kind of circle just on your own. And so that to me is one of the most beautiful things that we've been able to create. And the people who are millionaires in BU, they are treated exactly the same as the people who are literally looking for their job or trying to break through as an entrepreneur or whatever. There's no hierarchy. It literally just is a family and a cohesive unit, man. And yeah, it's great, man. I love it.
Now, you guys have been, of course, your claim to fame is the YouTube with the TGIMs, and you've had the Guru story. You've had you have Love Conquers. Like, what was the feeling like when you had your first viral video, and then to follow up with another one? Because, like, I'm in the music, you can have a single, but can you get that repeat? So you guys had multiple occasions. What are those feelings like when those happen for you?
You know, at first it was kind of weird because, believe it or not, like, we got on YouTube, like, when YouTube was new. Like, we didn't even really know what YouTube was. I remember telling Carl, like, yo, it's this place where you can go and you can watch, like, videos and, like, I don't know how to do it, but we need to figure out how to do it. And I remember Carl was in the office, and he went on there, and he was looking at a couple videos, and he was like, well, I don't know how to do it, but it's like 12-year-olds with videos on here, and if they can figure it out, we can figure it out. And so when you think about it, like, the word viral and all of that, like, that wasn't even really, like, a thing back then. And so when we put up the video, the Guru story, the one that everybody knows about, we put it up with no real expectations other than we wanted to show our students at Michigan State and have an easy way to be able to show them the video. And so what we started doing, Matt, is every time we were in charge of running academic orientation. And so we'd have, like, waves of students, like 3 groups of students coming in a day for, like, a week. And every time they would come in for orientation, we would just play the video. And I remember looking at all the kids, like, after we played the video, and they would be like, almost like tears in their eyes, like, yo, I'm so ready. They would be so fired up. And I was like, man, this video was fire. But again, YouTube at the time, we're not thinking viral. We're not thinking this thing is about to go crazy, any of that. And so slowly but surely, we were playing the video ourselves. Somebody had 100, 200, 300 views. And then, like, we went to work and we're putting TGIMs up in the meantime and that whole nine, but then we would constantly, like, go back maybe once every couple of weeks, a month, and look at that video and be like, oh, wow, 5,000, like, wow. And I remember thinking, like, 5,000 was like, whoa, like, we are viral now, right? Like, to have a video with 5,000, because most of them were in, like, the teens and 20s, right? Like, so it was 5,000, it was like 10,000, and it was like 20,000, and then we were like, whoa, this video is really taking off. And so somebody actually took it, and that wasn't even us. Somebody actually took it and reposted it and called it The Truth on Facebook. Right. And it went like crazy on Facebook. I think it had like a couple 100,000 like immediately. And then so people start checking back to the YouTube and back to the Facebook, and it kind of just started ricocheting back and forth. And, slowly built into, obviously what today is considered one of the best motivational speeches of all time,
Yeah, not even that, but I'm a very avid follower of motivational people, from the Pacific Institute to Zig Ziglar, and you guys were the first motivational company, I believe, to actually put videos on YouTube. So therefore, all the boys followed suit, kind of, and I think it kind of opened avenues for you guys because you were spearheaded that movement. So then they had to open their doors to find out what you knew, but at the same time build those relationships.
Yeah, man. Here's the one thing I want to tell everybody who's listening to the podcast is when you're smaller and you have less resources, you have to find out what your advantage is, right? Like I just believe that everybody has an advantage, and I wrote the book, My Secret Superpower, Matt, which you're probably familiar with. But if you look at like a porcupine, you know what I'm saying? Like a porcupine, small as all get out, but my man got them needles, and you better not come up playing with him. And I think for us, we were like a porcupine. Like, we weren't very intimidating. We didn't have a whole lot going on, but we had a whole lot of fight and a whole lot of like sharpness to it. So guess what we did? We put the videos on YouTube because we weren't as big as Tony Robbins. Nobody knew us. We weren't selling out arenas across the world. Like, nobody knew who we were. So our special superpower was, okay, let's just put our stuff up on YouTube. It's free. We can put up as much as we want. Hopefully people will start seeing it. Hopefully people will start liking it and booking us to come speak. And that's exactly what happened. But I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we look and say, oh, man, we don't have a huge budget. We don't have this. We don't have that. And I tell people all the time, your strength can be in your smallness, if you will, right, for lack of a better term. Your strength can be the fact that you're smaller. Why? Because you can pivot faster, right? It's a lot easier to turn around a canoe than it is the Titanic. A decision that needs to be made for you, Matt, in terms of a podcast or what you want to do or what you want to do with your interview styles, you can make that decision tomorrow, and tomorrow you can have a whole new direction. Whereas some big company, they're so big and bulky that it could take them forever to make a decision. They got 18 people who got to approve the decision. This has to be made, that has to to be made in order to get something right. And for us, we just took advantage of what was our special superpower at the time, is that we were so small. Like, nobody knew us. So we could just put up, man, we were putting up videos 30 minutes, 35 minutes that we didn't know if it was going to take or not, but we didn't have to worry about our rep being messed up if the video were wet because nobody knew who we were yet. And so we were just taking chances, man, and we were shooting our shot, and, you know, luckily a couple of them landed, bro.
Yeah, man, they had. I mean, it touched the world, man. Like, you and Eric Thomas and Carl have been able to travel around the world speaking positive information. Like, how did that first time feel when you actually jumped on an airplane and said, we're going out of the country because of our work, because of this grind, because of those years we sacrificed? This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the first time I didn't get to go, unfortunately. So it's funny because we finally got that first overseas invite, right? And it was to Egypt. And I remember they had 4 first-class plane tickets that they were sending, and, you know, they had a nice check that they were going to pay E. Now, we were doing well in the States, you know, but this was our first international gig. And, of course, you know, me being a co-owner of the company, E being, you know, me being E's right-hand man, Carl coming on a little later, and the pecking order of how things go, it technically should have been E and his wife and me and my wife that used the 4 tickets. But again, me being, you know, a businessman and being, you know, savvy with, you know, what I wanted to do, I said, there's really no point in me coming. I don't even know how to turn the camera on. I don't know how to shoot. I don't know how to edit. So what I'm going to do is send Carl, let Carl and his wife go, right? Not even me and Carl, because I wanted Carl to be in full game mode and have his wife with him, not even have to worry about it. So I actually stayed home off our very first international road trip. I stayed home and waited on Carl to kind of shoot me the footage and then get a game plan with the footage. So I wish I could say I got to go, and it was amazing, our first trip out of the country, but I didn't even get a chance to go, man. I hung back. But in regards to your question about, like, how it feels, I tell people all the time, there's never been for us this aha moment where it was just huge. Like, you think about it now, he works with every NBA, NFL, you know, team. He's got celebrity, you know, clients that he coaches, and it's just big time. We go to the airport and everybody knows him, that kind of thing. And you look at it and you're like, wow, you know, when did that moment happen? It never happened. Like, for us, it was just a slow, steady grind. All, like, we used to go to the airport and maybe one person would notice him, then 5 people, then 10 people, then, you know what I mean? So it just was a steady grind. And so people say, how did it feel to tour Australia? And I said, it felt great, but, you know, it didn't feel like this landmark moment. And I wasn't trying to be humble, but before we toured in Australia, they were buying our books in Australia. And before they were buying our books in Australia, they were leaving YouTube comments saying, Queensland, like places we didn't even know, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, like all of these places. And then before they were leaving comments in Australia, they were...
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep. Before they were leaving comments in Australia, they were leaving comments in the States. And before that, you know, the state of Michigan, before that on campus. And so it just kind of was this slow grind. And I think, I hope that every entrepreneur can understand that, you know, there may not be this moment. It wasn't like, okay, we put up 5 videos and then Oprah called and boom. It never happened for us like that. It literally has been inch by inch, brick by brick. And so that's why we never had that, like, rush of like, oh my God. I do remember one cool story. Like, I remember just like when I was like, oh, okay, this is like changing a little bit. The very first celebrity, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I had to ask E, the very first celebrity to ever reach out, and I don't know if it was on Twitter, and I don't know how, maybe he got E's number. Like, we had a video go on World Star. I think it was the Secret to Success video, went on World Star, and Tyrese called, and I remember being like, whoa, and Tyrese was, I don't know if it was Transformers or Baby Boy, or I don't remember what movie was going on that was hot at the time, but Tyrese was like the man, you know what I'm saying? And he still is the man, Tyrese that dude, but he called E, man. I remember him and E had a conversation, and I was just like, yo, like, man, it's like some A-list people starting to take notes. So I guess that was like the moment where I felt like, wow, he like invited E out to California to the set of a movie, and, you know, wanted him to help him mentor some kids and stuff like that. So it was just cool, man, to see that people were taking notice. But like, that might have been the one moment where I was like, wow. And, you know, you think back on it now, it sounds funny, but that was really like the first celebrity or person that, you know, we knew outside of our circle who had a big influence, who really took, interest in the brand.
And it says a lot about you as a individual for you to say, I gave up my tickets with me and my wife to go to Israel because we knew for the betterment of our company, it didn't make sense, and you were willing to not do that. A lot of people would have destroyed the relationship over something like that, So
yeah, but think about it. Like I tell people this all the time, though. Think about it, Matt. In reality, if I'm a businessman, it makes more sense for me in terms of my, longevity as an entrepreneur to send Carl to get this footage. And, Egypt obviously was a huge deal for us. It made more sense for me. So people always say it's selfless, and I say it's really selfish because I knew it was going to blow up our brand even more, which was going to be better for not only me, for Carl, for E. And so I think it all depends on how you look at it. So, yeah, somebody could have been selfish and been like, I want to go just because I earned this shot. But at the same time, I was looking like, whoa, what am I going to do besides moral support for E over there? I'm not going to be able to capture any of this. And if you go on YouTube, anybody who's listening, just go on YouTube and type in Eric Thomas Egypt, and you'll see some of the most amazing footage to this day that we've ever captured.
Yeah, that's definitely. And I mean, like, I've been fortunate in the same kind of situation. I have my business partner that's out there a lot because you can't be in two places at one time. So while he's out there doing that part, I'm at the computer building the relationships or the information that needs to be done. And you need multiple people to play the position and not have egos to be successful. And that's one thing you guys really do, like with the Secret to Success podcast. It's obvious that it's your situation. Like, you control the platform and everything like that. Like, when you first came to, when E.T. brought it up to you and you guys decided to do it, what made you decide you're going to spearhead that?
You know what, man, we had played around with the podcast for a little while, and we would do one, and then we kind of wouldn't do it for like a month or two, and then we'd do another one, and we wouldn't do it for a while. But I had just been noticing the trend of, like, and this is a couple of years ago now that we really started, like, for real. I had been noticing podcasts were getting, like, really catching some momentum, right? Because, like, you think about it, podcast is still fairly new, right? Because you're talking about, music's been around for how many years? Thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? Like, even, video, movies been around forever. But podcasting is a new platform. Maybe, 15 years max, so it's new. And so people are just now, I still have friends who are like, podcasts, what is that? Like, I don't really know what that is. But I kind of just saw the way the wave was going, man, and we have such rich conversations in our, circle, man, and I just was like, these conversations are like legendary, and this sounds like a podcast, so let's just, commit to doing it every week, and we did, man, and I don't know what episode we're on now, but it's in the hundreds. And
131 Buttercake Confessions is the one.
Okay, 131. There you go. You know better than I do. 131. So you think about it, that's a couple years of every single week dropping a new episode. And so I think I just kind of saw that, the podcast space was going to become big, and it was still fairly new. And just like YouTube, I wanted to be one of the first ones to the space and, make sure we put our imprint on it. So I guess, one of my gifts has always kind of been able to, kind of look and see what's coming around the corner. And I saw that podcast and it was going to be huge. So, and it's been huge for us, man. The podcast is great, man. I probably wouldn't be on here with you if it wasn't for the podcast. So.
And it's you have a eye for talent, I would say. So the way you did David Shands, or you and E.T. did David Shands, took him from the Cheesecake Factory to now he's running up with you guys as a motivational speaker, doing very well. You've got Toby, who's an artist from Houston that has linked up with you guys' label. I'm a major fan.
Yeah.
And then you got Iggy, that he was doing his own thing, but because you guys endorsed him, only person to be on TGIM, now he's running almost side to side. So it just says a lot about you guys' eye for talent and willingness to let somebody else step up.
Yeah, man, we have a dope roster, man, and a great group of people around us. You have to get Toby on the podcast one day, man. He's really, I'm just so proud of that kid, man, because that's a space, with the speaking space, that's something I know. But what we were able to build and what we're building with him in the music space, which I know nothing about, right, admittedly so, I knew absolutely nothing about, but I did understand branding and that whole piece, man, to see where he's gone and his videos. Of course, he just performed at the BET Awards, just crushing it, man. It's been insane to watch his growth, too. So, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I definitely. I actually reached out to him on Facebook. I put his the Sundays mixtape up as soon as it dropped, and I've been trying to link up with him because you guys don't know music, and like you always talk about finding your gift. So if I can lend my gift to help him break him to the world, I'm all down for the cause.
Love it, love it. Let's make it happen. You know, Toby's a gorilla, so he's not very much in the details, so he probably didn't even see it. So we'll get somebody else to set it up, man. That's no problem.
Definitely, we'll have to do that. I know you're a busy person, so I'm not going to take too much more of your time, but I have to talk about your guys' books, for one. I mean, you have some of the best books, Secret to Success book. The Greatness is Upon You, man, that's like a textbook you could give kids or anybody daily to figure their life. And you don't get any books like that.
Yeah, no, I think, Secret to Success is obviously E's autobiography, so it's more autobiographical, and, the audio book, and I don't know if you heard it, Matt, but it is one of the most incredible audio experiences that you ever hear. E reads it in his own voice, and then, of course, we had it professionally, done just with the sound effects, and it's like a movie, really. It's like listening to a movie. But then The Greatness is Upon You, yeah, man, it was a workbook, and, all the same kind of stuff that I'm talking about here, the way in which we were able to leverage, kind of our brand and, get to that next level in business and all of those things is what Greatness is Upon You is. I'm big on teaching, kind of how we got here. Like, I'm not one of those guys, and he's not one of those guys that we're just going to get a ghostwriter and come up with a bunch of philosophies we don't believe in. Like, the stuff we teach, how to self-assess, how to make it to that next level, the creativity, consistency, like, those are things that we teach people how to do based off our own experiences. So, Greatness is Upon You is like a workbook in nature, you know what I mean? You can go through it yourself, you can write in it. It's something that you can use to launch your entrepreneurial career, man, and I'm really proud of both of those works for sure, as well as Average Skill Phenomenal Will.
And that's a great time. That's great because so many people don't realize you don't have to be the best, but if I outwork you, I can be the best. I will last longer than you do if I just work hard. And that's kind of...
there's no question. There's no question, man. That is one of our mantras. Like I said, it is one thing to be talented. It's another thing to have consistency and to not quit, man. So we kind of we've been rolling with that theme for a long time. It's got us a long ways, man.
Yes. And then I really fell in love with when you guys did the mixtapes. That was one thing that really got me because, like I said, with me being in music, I always thought it'd be cool to have like motivational speakers mixed up with music. So the users tune in for the new song, and then they get a Zig Ziglar, then now they get an Eric Thomas. So when you were creating that, was that your guys' vision just to use it as a platform to get his voice out there, or was it just another avenue to deliver his content?
Yeah, man, I always wanted to be, like, on the forefront. Like, I never want to be copying what anybody else is doing. I never want to be, like, waiting on somebody else to set the trend. I always wanted to set it myself. And so, like, I would get people all the time that would hit me and be like, yo, I listen to E while I'm at the gym, but I still got to mix in my music because I need my music when I'm doing my cardio or whatever, but I listen to E, and they would always be like, I listen to him, and then I listen to a song, and I listen to him, and I was like, man, so in my head I was just kind of like, yo, we got to find a way to fuse these things together so that they can still get the workout on and listen to ear. So, man, that was kind of how it came about, just listening to the consumer, to the customer, to the client, and just keeping your ears open, and they kind of told me what to do. And so I was like, all right, cool. And then so then the first couple, man, we took, Lil Wayne tracks, Fab, Wale, and, we just put E's voice over them, man, and they kind of took on a cult following, man, and so we've been doing, obviously the last few have been actual albums, but man, it's been cool to watch the growth and to watch other people now doing their own, you know what I mean? And like people always ask me, like, oh man, that person's copying you, da da da, and I say, man, it is what it is. That's why we did it, so people can follow the trend and expand on it, right? Like the Fab Five doesn't get mad because people start wearing long shorts, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of is what it is. They started a new trend, and so I try to pride ourselves on being ahead of that curve, man, and trying to set the tone for what's next.
Yeah, every great idea comes from another idea. Just you figure out
what
your sauce is or your little twist that can make it your own. So Now, the albums, I remember you released The Resolution, and I was one of those people that hit you up and like, yo, what happened? Like, went from Dr. Thomas, where it was like, you're talking about good music and motivational, and then you went to Resolution, which was more of an exercise album.
Yeah.
But I don't think people really knew that at first, but I remember hitting you, and I felt bad afterwards, like, damn, they put this together for us, and it's amazing. And I was like, well, I shouldn't have said that, but I think you had a lot of that type of feedback. So are you working on a new Dr. Thomas too, or something of that sort?
Yeah, no, and it's funny. You're absolutely right. Once you do something like a couple of times, you kind of like people will try to pigeonhole you a little bit. But honestly, this between me and you, I think, years from now, the Resolution album will probably be the crown jewel of all of them. And I just say that because if you listen to, then you know music, but if you go back and listen to the mixtapes, it's one thing to have an instrumental and to have E's voice, kind of just playing over a track, right? It excites you and sounds good. The Resolution, to me, has never been done in that particular way, where you have E's voice almost the same as like a rapper or a musician on the track, where the actual beat and everything else is fitting his voice. If people knew how much time that took and how hard that was to like really make E sound like he was flowing on the track, like if you go listen to I Got That Dog and like things like he's literally riding the beat. And here's the crazy thing I tell people about that: we didn't record E's audio like have him go in the booth and like say some one-liners. We built the audio around that, and I think that's one of the things that you would not be able to, like, I dare people to go recreate that in their own space. It was one of the most challenging things that we've ever done, because literally you have all of this audio and you're trying to build beats and things around that. So that was all original audio that we already had, and he didn't do any punch-ins, he didn't do anything, and we took that thing, man, and it is one of, I think, our greatest pieces in terms of creatively. Now, I definitely understand, some people going, man, what? I wanted the full length, right? They want the full track of E talking and doing his thing, and so we put the Resolution out. Obviously, I was thinking people would kind of get the hint. We put it out, in January around, the New Year's resolution. So it was really for exercise folks who just wanted to, work out and, lift and exercise to it, and I think that goal got accomplished. But in terms of part 2 for Dr. Thomas, we're actually working on a new album right now, which will be more in I got some stuff up my sleeve. I'm not gonna give it away. It's not the same as Dr. Thomas in that fashion, but it will be long form messages. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So with Dr. Thomas, there was a segment, or it was a running joke that you used that to motivate him to finish getting his doctorate. So is Dr. Thomas 2, what's the motivation you're using for ET to help you to get to with this? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So no, so you're right about that for sure. We had all the mixtapes where he was like, I got my 4-year degree, I got my master's degree, I almost got my PhD. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, at some point we gotta. So the Dr. Thomas album was that, him finishing the PhD. So the next album is actually called The Prescription, and so it is now that he's like sunk into the PhD, and he's just on another level now, even from that, accomplishing that feat. Here's like, obviously I said The Prescription, he's a PhD and can't write scripts, but it's just kind of a play on words. But each track will be a prescription on how you get to the next level. So, so each track will be titled something that will be a prescription. So shout out to Nikki. We're actually working on the album now and finishing all the vocals, and we got something special in store. So yeah, The Prescription, man, that's the next one.
I was going to ask you, I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of motivational speakers. Did you ever check out Zig Ziglar's Born to Win?
I did not check out that one. I've checked out several of his speeches, but I did not check out Born to Win.
I'm going to send it to you. It was a DVD collection he created of his, like, when he used to go to major buildings and do his speaking. It was like stadium status. And he sold this for people, but you might be able to, I think it's kind of what you're talking about with prescriptions, so maybe there'll be some overlaying information, or just develop the template like it, because it's kind of what people used back in the day, and ET's already got the lane, so now he can just put out content. Like I said, one track will be dealing with motivation, one track will be dealing with setting your goals, so you can listen to the whole thing, and before it's over, it's like changing your life through that.
Yeah, no, send it to me, man. I definitely want to check it out, 100%.
Definitely. And I know you're busy, man, so I'm going to get off here, but I do appreciate the opportunity. I want to big up for you, for ETA, being in Philly with Inky Johnson, and what's that feeling like? Because you've got the biggest speaker, and now you got the up-and-comer who's now going to be doing the same thing with you. You guys have been on tour together. Like, how happy is it to see you guys can headline your own situation now?
Oh, man, it's great, man. Inky is a brother to me, man, and just an awesome human being. And, man, when you see him and E on stage, it's electric, man. So as a fan, I'm pumped myself. Like, I can't believe I get to be a part of it. So looking to make some history, man, looking to change some lives. So definitely excited about the Ignite the Dream tour, man, starting soon. So
yeah. And then what's the next thing other than that, and what do you want people to know about ETA and you as an entrepreneur that separates you from the other people?
Next up, man, is just always more the same, man. We believe in what we're doing. You know, we believe in, inspiring. We believe in putting out great content. We believe in having great live events, and we believe in, staying grassroots. You know what? I think the thing that separates us, to be honest, man, is, a lot of these online gurus and people who kind of give information, and no disrespect, man, but, they don't give you the actual blueprint. Like, a lot of them are like driving around in Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and they never even tell you how they made the money. Like, anything that we've done, whether it be, from, the personal development side, from, Josh and the solar company that we currently have, to the real estate stuff, like, we literally will give you the step-by-step information on how we got there and how we made our money. And I feel like, man, now with social media stuff, it can get so convoluted and people look like they're doing well, but they're not. And, man, I've been, behind the scenes a few times at some of these, these events and these influencers, and, man, they just know how to write intentions, man. And so when you see our stuff, and Matt, because you rock with us, man, we don't push stuff super heavy. We don't have an hour-long pitch at the end of our events trying to get you to sign up for the next program. It's just not how we rock, man. We genuinely believe in rocking with the people, showing organic love, keeping our stuff grassroots, touchable, reachable, the whole nine, and we believe the people will show love back. And that's how it's worked for us, man. And so I think the thing that separates us is just that genuine nature. As you can see, bro, you hit me up like, yo, I'm in BU, jump on the podcast. I'm like, that, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a genuine, relationship that we have with our followers, with our supporters, and I think they feel that love, man, and I don't know that they feel that love everywhere, man. I've heard stories, and, people like, man, I tried to do this, and it was like, yo, I need another 10 grand, and I pay another 5 grand, and you get to meet the person, and it's like, we don't do that, man. It's just like, yo, if you see E walking around at a conference, you stop him, pics, whatever. It's all love, man. So I think that genuine spirit, man, that, keeps us, humble, keeps us, low to the ground, man, is eventually what wins people over.
Well, like you said, it's as simple as with Breathe you guys started the 100-day challenge, and it forced Rob Wilson, Sean Stevenson, Questlove, and E.T. daily to give the members something. You know what I mean? Like, that takes that dedication, but it just shows a love and passion for helping people be successful.
Oh, no doubt.
And I know I'm personally looking forward to the next one. I've heard rumblings that you guys are going to do a new one this year for the 100 days.
Oh, yeah, we got to do it, bro. I need it myself, and so I got some things that I know I need to work on, and so I'm just wrapping my mind around exactly what it's going to be. But, nah, man, I'm excited to get back on it. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
Man, people, just went to the next level, so we definitely got to do it again.
Definitely. And, is this really, man, as a Breathe You member, as a fan of what you guys do, you guys change lives. You really have created a winning culture from everybody who's with you, who even knows who you are. I just got a bigger job opportunity because I mentioned Eric Thomas. So it just goes to show that you guys are...
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Proud of you, and, keep this platform going, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'll send you this file when it's done, and I got a few more insight or ideas I might send your way if it's cool. Maybe it can help. And
of course.
If there's anything I can help the squad, man, I'm on board with it.
Love it, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Honor, man. Have a wonderful day.
You too, man.